celebrating 10 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Ross the Boss.
Welcome to Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill. My guest today is Ross the Boss. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
I've wanted to meet you for a long time. You rhyme.
Quality hair care is my guarantee, but only at shops that I oversee.
I love it. First time I heard one of your commercials, I heard somebody talking about one of your commercials, and they were like, wow, that was a crazy commercial. Which commercial? I said, Ross the Boss. And I thought, gotcha. That's pretty good. Let's rewind to the beginning of your life, Kansas and Oklahoma.
Born in Veterans Hospital in Kansas, moved to Oklahoma as soon as I was able to get out of the hospital. My father was in the Navy, and then moved to Ada, Oklahoma, and that's where I grew up. It's a town of about 15,000 people. It was great. It was leave it to Beaverland.
So did you have brothers and sisters?
I'm the oldest of four. I have two brothers and a sister.
What was so idealistic about, or idyllic, I should say, about Ada, Oklahoma?
Well, I guess what you could say is that what you saw in Leave It to Beaver or Father's Knows Best, that was my life.
Really?
We grew up in the 60s, but we didn't know it. We were the 50s.
Which one were you? Were you Beaver? Were you Wally? Were you Eddie Haskell?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. I had the good fortune to grow up in First Baptist Church of Ada, Oklahoma.
Gotcha.
And
Wally.
They drugged me there. And I really liked pleasing old people, so I sat on the second row right behind the deacons. And anytime the young people wanted something done, they came to me because I was the one always being nice to the old people.
Gotcha.
And so I liked that.
So you went to high school and college.
And college.
Tell me about your college experience and what did you study?
I studied business with a minor in economics and a minor in chemistry. And I was going to be a pharmacist, but I fell in love my sophomore year, and you have to take chemistry labs to get a degree in chemistry, and so I decided to switch to business so I could get married. And I got married between my junior and senior year, and I'm still married to the woman after 45 years. 45
years. So you get married, you fall in love, you decide to start your career, and my understanding is that you were selling tennis shoes. What kind of shoes?
Well, let me take one step back. I worked my way through college, and my senior year I got a job with the Bell Telephone Company, and I worked and went to school, and then I went to work for them as a management trainee the next year.
Okay.
And then a little company contacted me to become a salesman to sell pre-cooked pizza meat to Pizza Hut and Pizza Inn. And since I wasn't really corporate, I seized the opportunity and did that for a year. And I thought I had found my place. I lived in Norman, Oklahoma, and was an OU fan. And then what happened is that one of the guys at church said, "You ever thought about selling tennis shoes?" I said, "No." And he says, "Well, why don't you come over to the house tonight and we'll talk," because I work with him at church and with the young people. And we got in his Lincoln Continental and went to his house, and I said, "God is calling me to be a tennis shoe salesman."
But what kind of tennis shoes? All kinds? Were you representing multiple brands?
Flash and Dash.
Flash and Dash.
Isn't that terrible? Anyway, it's Autry Industries, and they sold low-priced, medium-priced tennis shoes to everybody but Walmart. And so they sold to Gibson's, and they sold to Howard Brothers, and they sold to, you name it, Kmart.
In all the years that we've been doing this, and we've been doing the TV interviews for about a decade now, been in radio about 30 years, there's something that I keep seeing over and over again. And when I write about this, this is one of the things that I'm definitely going to dedicate a lot of time to. You said, I worked at this place, and I worked at that place, and I worked at this place. If you take the I out of all of it, and you take the place out of it, it's just work, 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 work. Every person I've come across, Ross, has had a tremendous work ethic. Where'd you get yours?
Well, I guess I got it from my family. I got it from the culture that I was in because everybody had a job. Mother worked feeding the kids, and Dad worked selling life insurance, and he was a teacher before that, and he was a coach while he was a teacher before he became a life insurance salesman. And some of the family were farmers. And of course, if you're a farmer, my mother says she picked cotton when she was 6 years old, so they just expected
It was just in you.
It was the expectation of the community.
So if you're not work resistant, life is much, much different, and maybe even a little bit easier, because you don't have to push against that every day. You wake up and this is just who you are, and this is what you do. Do you think being in a family of hard workers just made work seem normal, therefore going after something wasn't really a hard thing, it was just a focus thing?
I didn't know I had a choice.
Wow.
And plus it was fulfilling. It's kind of like winning. We were the state champion football players in my senior year in high school. And of course, when I wasn't working, I was working out, lifting weights, running, doing drills, and this type of thing. So in Ada, Oklahoma, we were state champions 19 out of, I think, 30 years. And so between work and football, you have a ethic.
Right, it's work.
Yeah.
It's work. My guest is Ross the Boss. Here's a neat factoid. You told me you're not a hairdresser.
No, I'm not.
Now, how does that work? You'll find out when we come back. This is Anything is Possible.